I'm Mallory Porche. I had the honor of interviewing Ambassador Andrew Young, former mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, former U.S. Congressman, and noted civil rights leader. Thank you for taking the time to do this with me. Coming from an HBCU, I saw you went to Howard. Why do you think it's important that minorities attend HBCUs?
Well, it was important for me to attend an HBCU. I had visited University of Southern California, but I was on USC's campus, beautiful campus, except I was the only black face on there. And I'm from New Orleans, where people speak to people. And I'd speak to people and people walk by me looking up in the air, not paying any attention to you. And I did good in my classes, but I didn't make any friends. I decided to get out of there. And my daddy had gone to Howard. Okay. So I said, I don't want to go there. He said, well, go to Howard. I said, yes, sir. And Howard was much different. Everybody was friendly. Mm-hmm. But the girls didn't speak to me because I think maybe because I was a little nerd. See, I was young, but in New Orleans where people speak, but I was tired of people ignoring me. And so the white folks had ignored me. So I'd speak to people when I passed, and if they didn't, I said, baby, you passing for white today? you ain't speaking to your colored friends? What's the matter? See? And when I started that, a lot of the guys started that, and we would call you pretty girls out and talk about you if you didn't speak to us. And pretty soon we had almost everybody on the campus speaking. And the thing about college that I worry about, well, where your brother went to school, they had a kid that just cracked up and started shooting people. And college is lonely. I mean, I was lonely. Even at Howard, it got a little lonely. Mostly because when everybody was studying, I didn't want to study. And it took me a long time I was there because my daddy was a dentist. Okay. And he sent me there to be a dentist. But I knew I wasn't going to be a dentist. And I didn't know what I wanted to be. So I just had a good time. And when people ask me, what did I learn at Howard? I finally decided that I got a PhD in nigology. That there was no place in the world that I've been, and I've been to over 100 countries. Mm-hmm. There's no place in the world where anybody could make me feel bad. I learned how to get along with my people, and if you can get along with black people, you can get along with anybody. Right. See, and I joined a fraternity, and I ended up on the swimming team and the track team. Mm-hmm. And so I really had a ball.
Which fraternity did you join?
My daddy was an Alpha, so I became an Alpha. And it's almost 70 years I've been in the fraternity. They weren't doing much paddling, but they would like to intimidate you. I learned to deal with all kinds of people. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of Nigerians and West Indians and a couple of guys from Honduras, and had some white folks there too. Mm-hmm. But everybody sort of got along like one big happy family.
That's good. Mm-hmm. So I think it's kind of that way now. Not as diverse, but
mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's a family atmosphere. In an interview recalling the moment of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, you said that your reaction to it was that you went to heaven and left us here in hell, and that you had to continue his dreams.
Yeah, but we started with Dr. King being assassinated, and I just figured that was the end. We were barely making it with him.
Right.
And I mean, my idea was that he's gone to heaven and left us in hell by ourselves. And we were just getting by. And, but the night before he was killed, we had been talking about getting people registered to vote and getting the vote out, and how that was the next important thing that we had to do. And so I decided I was gonna register voters the rest of my life, until when I went to see Harry Belafonte to get him to, he and Aretha Franklin were gonna do a benefit concert for us here in Atlanta to raise some money to help us keep SCLC going. And he said, you need to run somebody for Congress. And I said, we don't have anybody. And he didn't even ask me. He turned and he called his wife. And he said, can you see if we can get Sidney Poitier and Lena Horne and Larry, I think it was Larry King, and Tony Bennett. See how many of them are gonna be in town. And he gave her a Sunday. And she said, well, what are we doing? What's this for? And he said, Andy's running for Congress. I said, no, I'm not. He said, somebody's gotta run.
Right.
I said, yeah, but I said, I can help more people run. See, and I'm an organizer. I can help organize to get out to vote. He said, no, but vote for who? He said, you're the only candidate we got, so you got to run. So that happened there. And I lost the first time, but you don't quit. I kept on running and won the second time, just 2 years later. And Jimmy Carter started running for president, and he won. And he came to me and said, I want you to go to the United Nations as ambassador. I said, no. And I said, I got a much better candidate for you. Barbara Jordan had just led the impeachment thing in the House and impeached Nixon. And I said, she's a constitutional lawyer. She's a much better speaker and legislator than me. And I said, she would be a great ambassador. And he said, yeah, she would, except for one thing. And I said, what's that? He said, she was not with Martin Luther King, and you were. And I need somebody. He said, I need the reputation of Martin Luther King to convince people that we're serious about human rights. And so I had to leave the Congress and go. The only negative thing about that, if I'd stayed 6 more months, I'd had a congressional pension. And so by leaving everything quick, I lost all my pensions. And so I got no choice but to trust in the Lord, see, and keep on working.